Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Gritty Reboots, the show in which we take popular franchises and cartoons and movies and comic books and action figures and pumpkin soup and give it a good old gritty reboot in the style of Chris Nolan, Sam Mendes kind of movies. So I'm MJ Dixon, and with me is...
Lewis Cooper. That is me.
And we... every month we take one of those things and give it a good old polishing and or an unpolishing, really, isn't it? Cover it in crap and call it a gritty reboot is basically the basic premise of the show is that we take something like this and make it worse, and then you have to listen to us make it worse for an hour.
That's what we do best.
We should mention that usually about halfway through the show as well, unscrupulous studio executive Charely Swinstein tends to swing in and throw studio notes at us, right while we're in the midst of trying to make our reboots, pitching our reboots. So
absolutely no scruples, that woman.
Not just unscruped.
Not a scruple to be found.
No. So yes, this week we put a vote up, and it was between Masters of the Universe and Thundercats, and Thundercats won out by. To be honest, it wasn't a landslide. It was neck and neck, but luckily we flipped Michigan, and there we go. We Thundercats ended up being the winner.
I'm quite surprised at that.
But it was
of all the votes
that
have taken place in recent memory, that's the most controversial, I think. Of all the voting that's been done.
Well, to be honest, when you said let's do He-Man versus Thundercats, I thought, okay, like He-Man will obviously win that.
I thought so, to be honest.
Yeah. So I had like a whole sequel to the 1987 movie with old Dolph Lundgren as King Grayskull planned.
I would love that.
It was amazing. I've been thinking about that film my entire life. So this was my time to shine. And then Thundercats came along. So for those who don't remember,
Ghostbusters.
What? Oh yeah,
you know how I felt about the Ghostbusters one, yeah.
So for those who don't remember, Thundercats was a show that launched in 1986 and ran for 4 years, 3 years with toys, I think. And it was the basic premise was that some cat-like people came to another planet after their planet got destroyed, naked. It was uncomfortable. It was very, like, looking back on it, it was a very uncomfortable kind of setup with all these kind of cat people arriving with no clothes on like a deserted planet. And we followed their adventures as Lionel, Lord of the Thundercats, kind of learned to become a leader. He was like a child trapped in a man's body, is what I remember.
Aren't we all?
His cryo chamber didn't work. The big problem I've had with this pitch before we start is that they did reboot this in 2011 in a kind of like Final Fantasy style, and it's like the perfect reboot for something like that.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't think it did particularly well, but I really enjoyed it. And
every idea I had was I was like, well, no, that's basically the fucking 2011 reboot, which was really good, but it got cancelled after I think about 26 episodes. It was supposed to have 2 seasons, and it got cancelled after one. It was a real shame, a real travesty.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think I remember watching it on like Sunday mornings or something.
It's not considered the canon version of Thundercats again, which was the idea, was to replace the original canon with a new kind of more mature version of the story, I think.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the most recent reboot?
I am.
Thundercats Raw.
I am.
I didn't know that was a thing until the other day. And
yeah. Well,
I
remember people being very up in arms when they announced it last year. You know, because it's basically Teen Titans Go, which is another show ruined by kind of like, I don't know whether you remember Teen Titans from the kind of early 2000s, but it was like a cool
I'm familiar with
show.
both of them.
And they rebooted it as kind of like a goofy animated sitcom kind of thing.
I think Teen Titans Go is pretty good from what I've seen. I watched the movie.
I mean, after being a fan of Teen Titans,
yeah,
I really, really dislike Teen Titans Go.
I get that. I'm a big DC guy though, so I like a lot of the little
Yeah, I
jokes
can
and
get
stuff.
you.
So it's
I see.
but yeah, I get what you mean though.
It takes me back to the days of
It's
slogging
not
through
for us, Mike.
64 episodes of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog to get to like 12 episodes of the actual good show. You know,
We're men,
it was
we're
24.
men in our 30s. They don't care about us anymore. They've
Well,
got
they
our
should,
money.
because I mean, the reality is, I'm the one who's going to go and buy the toys. Like
Yeah.
you like, my wife owns, because in this house there is always a He-Man Thundercats rivalry, but it's between me and my wife. So I'm big Masters of the Universe guy, and Anna is a big Thundercats fan, big Thundercats girl. She'll appreciate me calling her that.
I'm sure.
But
Everyone
she
dreams of
has
being
like
called such a thing.
every single, I think every single toy from the 2011 series, and some of the classic ones as well. So that's her thing.
I had assorted Thundercats toys as a kid. I remember having the Sword of Omens, but I don't think I had a Lion-O. I think it was my brother's. I think maybe he lost the Lion-O or something. But I had like my brother's hand-me-down Thundercats
I
toys,
remember
but not many.
the Sword of Omens, the battery compartment that held it in. Like everyone lost that straight away.
Well, I mean, like I had like the little one that came with the figure, and I used to hold it up in front of my face like that when I was a child.
Right, I had the full size one, but like
yeah, I didn't
anyone
have
I knew who had it, they'd lose the battery compartment off it straight away. And then if you whacked it off anything, so obviously as a child, the temptation is to sword fight.
Whack off, always.
The plastic vinyl of like the blade was so soft and hollow that it would just split and fall off. Like, so like it's very rare to find a decent one of those swords in decent shape now. I do have the glove of Thunder, the claw glove of Thundera.
Very nice.
Well, that's Anna's. This is on loan from Anna's.
The Anna Museum.
Nice. Yeah. So, but we do have
got this rock.
But it's gone walkabout. It's gone exploring barren planets, looking for sustenance. So, the first section of the show, as always, is called Pitch Please, and in that segment, Lewis and I basically pitch our ideas for a reboot of Thundercats. So I thought we've been taking it in turns to go first, I think. So I think it's my turn this time.
Yeah, I believe so.
Which is always good. The good thing about going first is that if the pitches are similar, like you're not fucked.
Yeah.
Because I had a real panic attack last week when you went Adam's Family, and straight out the gate our pitches had like a lot of similarities, and I was like, oh, it's going to give mine away here. But luckily it worked out quite well.
On the flip side, it does make it easier when we combine the two. So it's
that's true. We just go, there we go, we made the same film. Done.
Swings and roundabouts.
And so we're going to add bleach to it or whatever. Whatever.
Like I said before we started recording, I'm pretty confident we'll be quite dissimilar this week, but we'll see.
I mean, you say that all the time.
Yeah, but I'm just always confident. You know me.
I believe it because you're so confident. I believe you every time. So it could be this. You could literally read the same pitch word for word after me, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you were right," because of the confidence in your voice.
Yep. Life is 90% confidence,
and 60% every time.
Yep.
Right. So, well, without further ado, my pitch is it's the longest pitch I've ever written. I don't even know how it happens. I had zero ideas when I went in, and it's still
You're a
3.5.
Creative guy. Once you get those juices flowing.
Here's my pitch for Thundercats.
Please take it away. Always.
Far off in a distant galaxy, a planet in turmoil facing its final days, an alien race that look like dogs or perhaps jackals are under attack as we see that its people being picked off by bandages. What?
Confused already.
We witness a handful of peaceful creatures brutally slaughtered by flying pieces of fabric. The material slinks like a snake back to its master. Standing tall, we see the shadow of a huge horned monster through the dust. It stands looking over the ruins of a civilization as it lets out a low, sinister laugh and then takes off into the sky with its huge demonic wings. We move away from the ruins of the city to the barren wastelands beyond, across a vast nothing until we see in the distance a dark black pyramid. We move upon it as the figure lands outside the pyramid. The huge monster moves into the dusty old corridors of the large structure, and as it does, it shrinks to a smaller form as its tentacle-like bandages retract into its hooded cloak until it looks frail and old. A large sarcophagus, bloody hard word to spell.
I spell it like it sounds.
In front of him opens as he stands in the room. A voice echoes through the darkness. Is it done? Another. Are they destroyed? Another. Have you rid this earth of them? A final voice. Of the vermin? The figure turns. Although it's in shadow, we see a dusty, decrepit form as it looks out from hollow eye sockets. Yes, ancient spirits of evil. They are destroyed, he says. Then you may slumber, the spirits chime, for you have once again protected our earth. This third earth.
What they call
As the
it,
tomb
you
closes, the black pyramid sinks into the desert below until it is gone, and the planet is lifeless once more. 500 galacto years later, because that is literally the measurement of time in Thundercats.
It's like Rod and Todd. He's 5 space years older. I don't like this story.
So 500
I'm
galacto
taking
years
notes,
later,
by the way.
on the third Earth, a ship approaches, landing on the barren planet. The doors open and from it appears 2 figures in spacesuits. The first figure moves out into the atmosphere, taking readings with some gadget. Then the figure removes his helmet to reveal a Catman. His name is Tigra, a scout for the Thunderian Empire. It appears the atmosphere is breathable and close to that of Thundera. The other figure removes their helmet. His wife, Chitara. But there's nothing here. Actually, I'll read it in Chitara's weird, deep voice that she has.
Please do.
But there's nothing here. That's literally almost exactly what she sounds like in the show. She says, our readings gave out signs that some kind of energy was emitted from this rock, and the planet is full of bountiful resources that could last 1 billion galacto years. Thundera will die within the next galacto, and we must find somewhere to ensure our race survives.
I have galacto-free milk.
That's my favourite, yeah. It's vegan as well. We see a montage as we see the inhabitants of Thundera arriving, led by General Panthro. The cats make their home on this new planet, building a new city and a new civilization. They dub it New Thundera, ruled by the aging King Claudius. Fucking hell.
Easy for you to say.
And as they find themselves safe upon this new planet, they watch across the stars as the last moments of they watch across the stars the last moments of Thundera as it implodes upon itself. The king smiles to himself, his people, his son. They are safe, but Claudius knows that his time is short. I'd probably show this with him like coughing into a hanky, and then goes, "Oh,
he's got a bad cough."
Yeah, got a bit of red on it. Is that my lipstick? Oh no, I know what that means. You know, Lionel, Claudius's teenage son, enters the throne room. He is admiring the source of the Thundercats' power, the Eye of Thundera. He feels drawn to the eyes as he looks upon it. It suddenly gives him a flash of visions, the monstrous figure with horns standing in the fire. It screams as Lionel falls back. He doesn't have time to process what he saw as he is summoned by his mentor, bit of a Merlin type, I've written, Jarga. As they hurry to his father's chamber, he is dying, and in his last moments he tells Lionel that he must now take the mantle of Lord of the Thundercats and protector of the Eye of Thundera. A few days later, Lionel is sworn in as Thundera's new leader, and as the people gather, he is handed the Sword of Omens and calls out the traditional Thunderian battle cry. Ho! Yeah, we were all waiting for it, and there it was.
I was.
The Eye of Thundera springs to life and illuminates the land as the crowd cheers for their new young king. The light reaches out across the barren wastelands, beyond the city walls, across the desert. As it moves under the red glow of the eye, a pyramid begins to rise. That's the noise from Thundercats when something went down. I don't know if you
Mm.
remember. So
I remember everything.
I'll try. Lion-O was formally introduced to the new King's Guard by Jugger, General Panthro, Science Chief Tigra, and Captain Chitara. Because, you know, why not? People he has known his whole life will now be those who will help him become a just and decent king. Also, Snarf is there, but he doesn't say anything because we want people to not hate him. As night falls, celebrations continue across New Thundera. Lion-O greets his people at the palace when an old man appears in the centre of the crowd, dressed in a dusty red cloak. He speaks directly to Lion-O, and the party comes to a stop. You have disrupted the earth and claimed that which is not yours, the figure announces. Lion-O addresses him. Who are you, stranger? Because he's a teenager, he's got a deep voice. Who are you, stranger? Who dares disrupt the king on crowning day? The figure looks from under his hood. Ancient spirits of evil.
Is that his name?
Well, that's who's disrupting. So
nice to meet you, Mr. Evil.
He bursts from his cloak as his decayed, rotten body is revealed, covered in tattered bandages. They come to life like tendrils, piercing through Thunderians as he moves in on Lion-O. The King's Guard move to his defense. Transform this decayed form. A demonic wing springs from his back, swiping away Panthro. Into Mumra. Another wing appears from his back, knocking the attacking Tigra and Chitara aside. He moves in on the young king. The ever-living. His wings fold around his frail body, and then from them appears the huge, muscular form of Mumra, a demonic horned beast. Mumra is on Lion-O in a second, ready to strike. Lion-O is like a cat in headlights. Nice. Terrified. Jarga moves quickly, grabbing the Sword of Omens. He holds it out, but Mumra pierces him with a clawed wing. Jarga uses the last of his strength. He summons the power of the Eye of Thundera. It hits Mumra, burning him as he retreats into the sky. Lion-O runs to Jarga's side as he dies in his hands. His final words, you must protect the Eye of Thundera. That's right. The Thunderians are in a panic as Lion-O looks to his guards for help. Panthro, what was that? Lion-O says. Right, Panthro is a difficult voice to get right, so I'll give it a try. Like nothing I've ever seen before, replies Panthro. Tigra butts in. According to my readings, that was the energy source we detected when we found this planet, but magnified by 1,000 times. They don't have a measurement for like size, just years, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have used that.
That's fine.
Is it dead? Chitara asks. Outside the city walls, the form of Mumra rises from the ground, answering our question. His skin glows red hot from the sword's energy. He runs his hand across it. Such power, the ancient spirits whisper. It must be ours. Yes, says Mumra. It must belong to Mumra. Mumra looks upon the city. He places his hand to the ground and it begins to crack beneath his grip. And the ever-living. From the dirt, figures begin to rise. Skeletal rotten corpses. Jackal-like humanoid creatures. Rise, jackal men. Then vulture-esque beings. Rise, vulture men. Then large monkey men. Rise, very, very big monkey men. If you got that reference, you're too old.
I love it.
To be.
I don't get that reference, but I enjoyed it anyway.
It's a reference to an old punk, ska punk song.
Okay.
Armies of monstrous.
I enjoyed the phrase anyway.
Armies of monstrous zombie creatures begin to surround the city walls. Lion-O and his generals move to the city limits and look down to see the growing army of creatures. They move on the castle. It's a siege. The Thunderians move to protect their city as the hordes move on the gates. They try and fight them off as Tigra uses his abilities as a master strategist to keep them from the gates. Some get through, but Panthro and soldiers from the guard make easy work of them. Chitara uses her speed to snatch people out of harm's way. This is like a bit where, they use all their, unique Thundercatian powers.
Yeah, yeah.
Because being a fucking big cat person is not enough.
No,
Gotta have
you got to
something
have
else
special
going on.
skills.
Where was that? Yeah. Chitara uses speed to snatch people from harm's way. They manage to lock the city gates down, and from the moment they are safe, but the hordes are continuing to force themselves on the city. Mumra realizes he needs more brute strength in order to break through the city walls. He reaches into the earth and draws on a huge, monstrous demon dog, Marmot. I don't even remember Skeletor's weird little Mumra's weird little flying dog that he had.
Not at all, no.
It is terrible, but
I believe you. No knowledge of it.
The huge demonic creature, fire burning throughout its body. Think like the Balrog from Lord of the Rings.
I know that.
It attacks, making short work of the barrier, and the zombie creatures pour into the city, attacking the Thunderians. The main cats are trying to save as many people as they can, trying to get them to safety of the palace. Chitara comes across 2 young children, their parents murdered. Murdered. She gathers them up and heads towards the palace. She sees Lion-O moving out into the streets, trying to help people. The horde invade the city, killing anyone in their path. Lion-O tries to lead the soldiers into battle, but he's inexperienced, and although obviously skilled with a blade, he's no match for forces this powerful. Tiger comes to his aid, but it's not enough, and they find themselves cornered. Panthro suddenly appears in the Thunder Tank. It's like one of those moments, oh yeah, it's a fucking Thunder Tank.
I remember that, yeah. I'll be like, yeah.
He gets Lion-O and they hightail it back to the palace, and the other Thundercats, obviously, but he's the important one. They hightail it back to the palace. At the palace, the Thundercats attempt to regroup as the horde moves in on the castle. The city in flames. The surviving Thunderians cower behind the castle walls. Panther has something up his sleeve. He brings Lion-O and asks him to use the Eye of Thundera to power the castle's defences. As he plugs the sword into the castle's power supply, I don't know. I'm just, you know what I mean.
We'll go with it.
It's like that thing on Master Universe where they keep the sword.
I get it.
The fortress transforms into a huge cat-shaped lair. A giant cat's head appears on the top of the castle, and Pantro uses the power of the Eye of Thundera to fire down on the army. He sets the hordes ablaze and destroys the magic marmot, the gigantic marmot. Sorry. Enraged, Mumra brings down lightning, which is weird because Mumra has like weird lightning powers, but it's called Thundercats, but they don't have thunder and lightning powers. But
thunder's just noise, isn't it? So
yeah, I guess. So, well, maybe they're combined. They make the perfect couple.
They're all just bluster. That's what they are.
So Mumra brings down lightning, destroying the weapon, setting the place ablaze. The castle now in ruins. Panthro is injured badly. Mumra makes his move on the lair, smashing his way inside. He's greeted by Chitara and Tigra, but he makes easy work of them, and they are trapped under falling debris because they are
the worst kind of debris,
and so they can't actually die. What?
No, that's the worst kind of debris. Is falling debris.
Falling debris. Not as opposed to falling debris, which is just people called Deborah falling from the sky.
Yeah, that's preferable.
Although in 2020, I expect anything.
Who knows?
In the throne room, Lion-O makes a last stand against the monster. He tries to battle him hand to hand, sword to sword, but the sword won't work for him. Mumra throws the young king aside and moves in on him, ready to strike the final blow. Suddenly, the 2 children Chitara rescued earlier appear, using smoke pellets to distract the monster, as Lion-O is able to plant a final blow with the dagger-sized sword. Mumra stops in his tracks and looks down. The sword is like a toothpick to him. He pushes Lion-O down and stoops over him.
Saying that.
He pushes Lion-O down and stoops over him like an adult scolding a child. Why did you attack us? Lion-O says. By the way, this is where it gets political.
Oh no, I forgot about that.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry.
It was very natural, I'll be honest. Why did you attack us? Lion-O says. We came here in peace, looking for shelter. Mumra reveals his beef. You have come to take valuable resources for your own. But this planet was plentiful, Lion-O says. Enough for all of our people to survive in harmony. But we want them for our own, to go on living forever. He moves over Lion-O. He moves in on Lion-O and leans over him. Who do you think you are, coming over here and taking our resources? Lionel looks down at the sword hilt sticking out of Mumra. He looks up at the monster, and under his breath he whispers, "Thunder." Mumra frowns at him. He speaks louder, "Thunder." Mumra is baffled. Lionel reaches out and grabs the sword's handle. "Thundercats! Ho!" The sword springs to life, the blade extending, and it blasts the monster with the energy from the Eye of Thundera. It engulfs him and disintegrates him into pieces. He is defeated. The energy depletes the fire across the city and makes everyone alive again. No, it doesn't really, because that would be a big cop-out ending. It depletes the fire across the city, and as the new king stands looking over the burning landscape, he realizes he has won, but not before so many of his people have died.
Oh.
1 Galacto year later. The surviving Thundercats have begun rebuilding the city. Panthro now has a robot arm or something, and Chitara and Tigra are fine because they are popular characters, becoming foster parents to the two young cats, Wily, Kit, and Cat. I mean, it's quicker than saying their name the long way. But
now you've explained it. You've taken the time you would have. So, yeah, I got it. It was fun.
A more confident and older-looking Lionel looks out across the barren lands of Thundera. Chitara appears at his side and asks, "With new Thundera almost complete, what do we do, my young lord?" Lionel takes a deep breath and looks across the landscape. "We rebuild, just like we've always done." "And what if another evil should raise its head?" "What happens then, Chitara?" he says. "We'll fight like cats." Because that's the thing they used to say in the 2011 series.
Right, got you.
It's not that. So we do a big crane shot like in all movies at the end. And then as we move across the barren lands and deserts, we come to a swamp. Within the trees, we see a twisted, gnarly structure, the shape of Castle Plunder. Ooh. A figure moves in on it, a lizard-like creature. It comes to the castle and moves inside. A shadowy figure sits on a large, mossy throne. "My lord, I'll do some voices.
Niggle.
My lord, the lizard-like creature speaks. "I have news. This better be good to wake me from my 1,000 Galacto hibernation." "Yes, my lord. It's the Ancient One, Mumra. He has been destroyed." The creature stands, leaning on his huge weapon. Not his penis, like a big,
didn't
weapon.
Assume that.
"Well, that is interesting. Without our truce with the ancient evils, the Plundarians can become the rightful rulers of this third earth, and you will be led by me." He steps from the shadows to reveal a large, fat lizard man. "King Sly." Cut to Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
Doing a cover of the Thundercats theme. Or Lion's version of Transformers, because that's, why not?
Yeah.
So there we go, that's it. To be honest, I haven't really done a lot of casting.
That's fine.
Apart from, so I did think Panthro, Vin Diesel, obviously, because of the voice and the bald head. Obvious choice, although I've heard he's a bit of a Wally to work with on set. I'll take the hit to have an accurate Panthro. Lionel, I can't remember his name, but they cast a young guy, Noah something, as He-Man.
Centino.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
They cast him as He-Man briefly last year, and then uncast him. And everyone complained, he's too small to be Lionel, to be He-Man. But I thought he's just about the right size to play a young Lionel, though.
Yeah.
So I thought he'd be pretty good. Chitara, I thought, what about someone like Ronda Rousey or something like that?
Yeah.
I thought she'd be pretty good. And then Tigra, I don't know,
Danny DeVito.
Doesn't matter, does it?
I can't remember what he looks like.
Hugh Jackman, there we go.
Yeah, perfect.
And then Wily Cat, I thought you'd do a fresh casting for that. Get some newcomers in. Snarf would be voiced by Adam Sandler.
Right.
And then Mumra would be CGI, but I guess voiced by Hugo Weaving, because why not? So do it.
He's got to make money, hasn't he?
So there we go. That's my pitch. That's probably the longest pitch I've done so far.
Yeah, I like it though. You've covered all the bases there.
That was honestly, I went in with not an idea of what it was going to be about. But it turns out it's an allegory for refugees. So
yeah, I got that part.
Which it kind of Thundercats kind of is, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you didn't make it unnecessarily political.
Yeah, except I guess when it says, "What who are you? Who do you think you are? You Thundercats coming over here and taking our resources."
I thought for a second you were going to go in the direction where the Thundercats are the bad guys, and actually it's all their resources that they've come to plunder.
I did start off with a kind of mixed messages because I was kind of I ended up coming at it from the refugee angle and the Native American angle. And I was I got halfway through and those two things kind of smushed together, and I was okay.
We don't want people thinking too much when they're watching movies.
Yeah, I thought I thought I've got to pick one and run with it. So, so I picked the one that I thought.
Yeah, no, I think it works.
Represented Thundercats the most.
My favourite thing about it is it's nothing like my one. So
well, there we go, and that's that's
pretty good.
If we all got reviews like that on opening weekend, then we'd be in a good place. 8 out of 10. It's nothing like my reboot.
8 out of 10 Thundercats.
There we go. Oh,
like the TV show.
That was good.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's up to you now, Lewis. Let's give me the pitch.
Sure is. Yeah, I'm ready if you are. So mine's quite drastically different. I'm kind of coming in, establishing early kind of the backstory and the whole thing, kind of keeping it the same as the cartoon, really. They've come to Third Earth and you've kind of established all that stuff already. But we're going to start, as I often do, with a big battle scene, just again to further establish the characters. And like you had, we could have them using their individual sort of abilities and stuff like that. And we're going for kind of a moderate violence level in this bit. We don't want to give it all away too early. We're going to shy away from anything, but we're not going to have anything too excessive. That comes later. By the way, this is a very, very clear homage to another movie, and I'm pretty sure you'll pick it up straight away. But
I hope so. At the moment, you picked up my Scar Punk reference earlier.
I didn't. I just thought it was funny when you said it. But yeah. So we've got this battle going on against Mumra's forces, whatever whatever form they take. They're like ogres or whatever, aren't they? I don't really know, but yeah. So they're fighting them. The heroes eventually kind of rout them. We've got a few nice set pieces in there. Lion-O is obviously the big hero of it all, but you've got the other characters as well. They rout Mumra's forces eventually, and then they all disappear. Mumra himself is either not there, or he's kind of watching from the back. He's not really involved. He's just kind of he's letting them do the work. So they fight him off, and then they run away, and then they go back to the lion cave where they live. I can't remember now. What's it called?
It's the cat's lair. It's called.
Yeah, they go back to their house.
The cat house, as I think we call it.
It's just a moderate cottage. No, it's the big base, and they're celebrating the victory. They're drinking some cat mead. I don't know what they drink. They're celebrating. They go, "Oh, good job today, guys. Well done, everyone." And you see Lion-O and the main characters. All the ones we've mentioned previously. And there's probably a few other figures. Yeah, and there's probably a few extra cat people there just to fill up the numbers. Again, that will come into play later. I'm sure they just have normal soldiers as well. Why not? And then Panther goes, where's anyone seen Snarf anywhere? You haven't seen him for a while, not since the battle. And they're like, oh, he's probably, he's cowardly and that he's probably just hiding somewhere. And he's like, yeah,
dead. But
I mean, well, he's like, he's hiding somewhere. He's probably up in the rafters of Lion's lair. I don't know.
He's up on the top layer of the cat tree.
Yeah, and they're kind of going, don't worry about it, it'll be fine, no problem. And then we cut to Mumra watching the celebrations on his thing that he has that he watches stuff through. And then a couple of his little gremlins are there, and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, sir, we lost the battle." And he's like, "Oh, maybe it's time to take a different approach." And then he turns around, and they've got Snarf in a cage, he's been captured, and he's like, "Oh no, Snarf!" He's voiced by Patton Oswalt in my one.
Oh,
but don't worry, that's not a big part of it. And he turns to him and he's like, and then it fades to black, and you kind of go, what's his machinations he's got going on here? So that's the next day. Panther is out on the balcony on the cat house, and he's got coffee, he's got his dressing gown on, and he's just looking out over the thing.
Some chicory and checking out.
Yeah. And one of them's like, "Oh, Panthro, we've won. What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, never rest. There's always something else around the corner. Mumra's still out there." And in the distance, he spots Snarf run along, and he goes, "What's that?" And he doesn't see him at first. And then he gets closer and closer, and there's some of Mumra's men chasing him like in like a helicopter or something, and like shooting at him and that.
Oh, like
And
it'd
he
be like
comes,
a mummy copter or something, wouldn't it?
yeah,
It's all
or
Egyptian.
the flying dog or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's running there. And Panthro gets a sniper rifle. I don't know, and he shoots like.
The,
Do they have guns?
the thunder rifle.
Yeah, that do. Yeah, but he takes him out, takes out the people, and then Snarf gets back in. They're like, "Oh, Snarf, you're safe. We were worried about you, sort of." And he's like, "Oh no, I got away. I escaped from Mumra. He had me, but I got out." And they're like, "Oh, okay, no problem." Um, and then so then everyone kind of relaxes a bit, and it cuts to a little bit later in the day, and Snarf just had a little nap just in one of the back rooms, and the Wileys, Kit and Cat, they come and check on him, and they kind of go, "Oh, you're right, Snarf," and he's like, "Oh, I don't feel particularly good, to be honest." And then as he starts like convulsing a little bit, and then like his back like opens up, and then like these like tentacles and stuff start coming out, and everything starts going proper ape shit. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? This is
Yeah, it's
you
definitely not the direction I was expecting.
Oh mate, I told you this is a clear homage. I think you've probably picked up on by now, but but yeah. So and then it all starts going crazy, and then you kind of hear things kicking off. Maybe an alarm goes off, and the kids get attacked, and then the other lions, cats come in. Lino comes in, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he just sees this big monster, and then he gets a flamethrower, and then he just he tortures him, and he's like, "Oh god, I didn't want to have to do that," but it was going crazy. And they check on the kids, and the kids seem all right, kind of thing. Like they're a bit shaken up. They've been hit into a cat wall or something. I don't know, but yeah. And then there's a little bit where everything kind of calms down again. They kind of have a meeting, like what the hell's going on? And then suddenly Wily Kit and Wily Cat, they start being a bit funny as well, and they start going, "Oh no, what's going on?" And they combine into kind of like a two-headed kind of monster sort of thing, like just a big scary tentacle monster. And then all the cats are fighting them, kind of thing. And they kill Tigra. Is it Tigra? Tigra? I can't remember her name.
Tiger, yeah.
But she gets killed because someone's got to get
Chitara.
killed. No, Tigra is one of the guys, isn't he?
Yeah, Tiger's
Yeah.
foreign guy.
Yeah, that's it. And then they kill him just because he's not important. And then Chitara is the one that kills them. Like she's the one that has to put them down. They're all quite reluctant because it's the kids kind of thing. And then so they're like, "Oh no, we've got to put them down." So then we're down to Chitara, Panthro, and Lino, and a few other assorted cat people. And they're all getting a bit kind of paranoid, like what's going on? Like something's infiltrated our base here, kind of thing. And so Lino goes and contacts Jaga, because he's the ghost and that, isn't he? And he's like
they're suspiciously similar to Obi-Wan ghosts.
Yeah. So he goes and he says, "Oh, there's something going on. Like we don't know what it is." And he's like, Mumra's using the old cat virus thing that's and he explains kind of the premise that it's getting in, it's going to be one of you at some point, sort of thing. And yeah, so he's like, how do we know who it is? And I mean, I know it's not me, but what about the others? How do I know? And he says, Lino, you have to use sight beyond sight. You have to use the sword of omens to identify who is the imposter, kind of thing. So he's like, right, okay. And then he kind of gathers everyone in a room, and he kind of gets, right, let's get to the bottom of this. And they're like, how do we know it's not you? And he's like, well, my sword's going to tell me. And he's like, that's how it expands. It just it's like that. It's like a lightsaber.
The toy, you just give it a bit
of and then he does the old give me sight beyond sight, and he goes across like everyone. And then he gets to he goes through past all the soldiers, and then Panthro, and then Chitara, and then like Chitara just goes, and like she's the thing now. And
I mean, you're not even trying to cover it up anymore now.
And then she combines with the others, like the monster, like when at the end of the thing where it turns into that big underground monster, like she's like, so it's got like a bit of Snarf in there, it's got a bit of Wily Kit and Wily Cat, a bit of the other ones, and then they just have this huge battle against it. So it's mainly Panthro and Lino now, they're my main two. So they have this big battle, and they have to kind of blow up a big chunk of the base to defeat this monster sort of thing. So they do that. They blow up the whole lizard's lair, or whatever it's called, and then at the end it all settles down. They've killed the monster, and then it's just Panthro and Lion-O left at the end, just kind of looking at each other, going, "Well, I've lost the sword because the sword's been buried somewhere." And they kind of go, "Well, how do we know which of us we can trust?"
The music, dun dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
and then Finn cut to black, and that's that's it. It's my Thundercats thing crossover.
What I'll say, Lewis, is that a suspicious man would go, "Have you just taken the thing and put Thundercats in it?" That's what a suspicious man would say.
Or have I taken Thundercats and put the thing in it?
Well, what came first, the thing or the Thundercats?
It's true. Thundercats, I think, just wasn't it? No, the thing.
The thing's based on
That's true. Yeah, you're quite right. For my casting, this is to hammer the point home even more. For Lion-O, I've gone Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son.
Nice. I was just watching 22 Jump Street yesterday and thinking.
Yeah, he's in that, isn't he? I like him. He's a good actor.
Reminds me of his dad quite a lot.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was his son for so long as well, like such a long time. He's an Overlord as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
And for Panther, I've gone with Dwayne Johnson, obviously. Why not?
Why not?
But yeah, and Chitara, I've gone Samara Weaving because I have to put her in everything. So it's. But yeah, that is my. And I said Snarf is Patton Oswalt, but he doesn't last very long. So.
The quicker we kill off Snarf, the better. Snarf.
We both had that same sort of thought, didn't we? Let's just get rid of him.
Yeah. Because he's the worst. I've never liked characters like that in shows anyway. Is why when I bought He-Man figures this year, I've waited to get Orko last because you just go, no, I hate those characters. But I think in the 2011 remake they didn't let him talk, and it was a massive improvement on the character. So
yeah, I do remember that actually. Yeah,
I'm all for Snarf shutting up. So I guess. That is a bit of a challenge, though. I've got some ideas of how we put the two together. So I guess now we just need to start kind of squishing our ideas together.
We'll find a way.
No studio interference. Oh no.
Boys, I can't talk for long. As you can see, I'm in the theatre. It's Crying Baby the musical.
Only
so I
Charlie
can't speak long.
Would do one of these in a theatre full of people
during a pandemic.
So
no social distancing going on there.
No, it's terrible.
I've been in the theatre and I had an epiphany. And what this movie really, really needs is a big musical number.
Ooh.
So I need the whole thing doesn't need to be a musical, but we need one big, strong musical number in there where all the cast is singing and there's a choreographed dance. I'm not saying it has to be Eye of Thundera instead of Eye of the Tiger, but it could be. It could be that. Anyway, I've got to go. Act 2 of Crying Baby is about to start.
Hey, thank you. Oh, God.
See, I'm actually happy about that because one thing we differ on is that I love a musical and you don't. So
we talked about this before. For those who don't know, I did think that I liked musicals, but then when I went through all the films that I like that are musicals, they're all like spoofs of musicals. So they're like South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and Team. They also seem to be written by Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Team America, World Police. I'm a big fan. Cannibal the musical, love that. But you can start to see a pattern evolving there. Is that a Patton Oswalt? Is that all the musicals I like seem to be taking the piss out of musicals?
Yeah, it's not quite the same.
I do have an idea of how we can incorporate it, though.
Okay, let's do it.
So, what do we want to keep from each thing? Do we want to keep the general? Because I guess I can see a way to make the Siege movie and your movie kind of sync together a little bit.
Yeah, I like your sort of narrative. You've got more of a broader thing than I have. Mine's quite specific, kind of. But I think we could keep that kind of general overlook, and then maybe just add in little bits of mine.
the Trojan horse element of yours, and I think it could work quite well for a siege movie. Like maybe they're out explore. You know, when they first come to this planet, they're out exploring this like the landscape, and Snarf goes running off and disappears, and he goes missing, and they think, oh, you know, he's a little shitbag, he'll come back, you know.
If he doesn't, he doesn't.
And our first inkling that something's wrong is Snarf appears all bedraggled during like the ceremony, rather than have Mumra come in, get shot out, and come back twice. Because that was a bit of a problem I had with my narrative, was I thought I couldn't figure out a way around it. This is a good way. Is when Mumra appears and then he gets shot out of the city limits the first time. I thought that kind of puts a bit of a dampener on Mumra's power, really. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because he's knackered, so we know that when he comes back in, he could get knackered again very easily. But if you have someone else, so if you have like bedraggled Snarf coming in during like the ceremony of, like, you know, Lionel's having a shit time already, his Snarf's disappeared, and you know, his dad's dead, and he's got to become a king, and he doesn't really want to, and he's been seeing visions from the Eye of Thundera. Maybe that
story is old
when
as time.
Snarf goes missing, he goes to the Eye of Thundera, like in the throne room, to like ask it, give him sight beyond sight to see where Snarf is, but he just gets like a flash of like weird, horrible, horrific images of like bad things happening, and he's like, what the fuck's that? And then Jarga's like, stop messing around with that sword, you'll go blind. Come on, we've got to make you, you've got to come see your dad, he's going to die. So he goes to the throne room, and he goes to see his dad, and then at the ceremony, he's a bit downtrodden because like everything bad's happened to him. He's lost his Schnarf, and you know, and his dad's dead and all that stuff. Yeah. So then during the ceremony, bedraggled Snarf comes in, and he's like, oh, wicked, like, I like him, and he's come back. You know, and then Snarf explodes into like horrible, monstrous, like deformities. You know, and starts like grabbing people, because I did wrestle with the idea of perhaps like I say the trouble is when you start with a siege movie, you very, very quickly start to get into like Game of Thrones territory. So I was cautious of like the dead Thunderians, then them coming to life as well. But that was the thing I considered. But perhaps we could have that thing with the Snarf and they kill it, and then but it's infected all those people. We don't know that till later. You know what I mean? Like, so they destroy the
double Trojan horse.
So then it can play out in that way where we've got that kind of the Trojan horse element is like the thing element, and then Mumra uses from the outside the city walls, uses like the zombies from inside to, like, you know, the thing people, like, and it starts twisting all the Thunderians into like horrible monstery creatures that the main cats have got to fight. And then then you can play it out with the big scene where they use the Eye of Thundera cannon cat, because I don't remember, but the toy was like a laser game as well.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so the cat's lair toy shot like infrared lasers out of its mouth, and there was like a bad guy's, I can't remember which one it was, but one of the bad guy vehicles could shoot lasers back, and you could like play like a laser tag game with it.
Oh, right.
So I thought, it'd be cool if we incorporated the toys into the film for that. So we can have this laser cannon thing that kind of wipes out, like, you know, the you know, it destroys all people who were infected with that stuff or whatever, you know. But the musical number, where does that go?
I quite like the idea of it being at the end. I like when it's like a big celebration of things, and maybe like even the characters that are dead, like Mumra's not dead, but he's been defeated. I suppose he's dead at the end of yours, isn't he? Really?
Well, but, my idea was that like he was destroyed.
The Skeletor,
like,
isn't it?
You know, you'd get like maybe like a in
back.
credit sequence where like you just see like the two, like the sarcophagus like closing like at the last minute, like laughing or, you know, like, or grumbling, or
maybe
whatever.
he could like pop up in the musical number and go and then he just gets killed again. Like they're just like, get out of here, you. But I like the idea of it being kind of like the end of Return of the Jedi, like a big celebration, but then it just all the characters start singing and dancing as well.
Oh, we could have it at the celebration at the beginning, like just before, like it could be like the Thundercats thing, like they sing like a song from Cats the musical, because obviously they're from they're Thundercats, so they're like they're the only people in the galaxy or 1,000 galaxies who like the film version of Cats.
I like that. That's quite good.
So like,
it's crossover potential there.
They're like, thank you for paving the way for our movie to happen by using leaps in technology to create humanoid cats.
So wait, we're using the same tech from Cats in our Thundercats movie?
I thought so.
Oh my god.
And they're like,
that is gritty.
Take the stage, Rebel Wilson, and she's like, yeah, and it's a bit like that scene in Return of the Jedi, but at the beginning where you know, like the remake of Jabba's Palace, where they have the band Max Rebo and the
Whalers.
Yeah,
what they're called.
They have that band, so we got have it there, and like, you know, it's like a homage to the movie Cats, because like, you know, it paved the way for Thundercats the movie to happen, and on their planet it was a huge roaring success.
Nice.
Obviously. And then I guess, and then the movie can play out as it does, and then, you know, if you're happy to keep that. And I really liked the idea of using the fact that the sword grows to like kill the bad
that's
guy.
great, yeah.
I thought that was
like that a lot, yeah.
Originally, again, I wrote that about halfway through, and I was like, oh no, that's a finisher move. That
it's a grower.
It is a grower. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like we've somewhat successfully combined our ideas and
I think we've done well.
Thundercats and technically The Thing and the musical Cats all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been done before. And hopefully never will again.
Never again. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone, for another episode of Gritty Reboots. As always, if you leave your suggestions in the comments below for things you'd like to see us reboot, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be films or cartoons or comics or anything. It can be anything. It could be a pack of biscuits. We're looking forward to Bourbons versus Bourbon, the classic biscuit versus alcohol
amazing
movie. But it can be absolutely anything, like a chest of drawers. No, I mean, no. I've put something you could turn into. I'm just looking at things around my room.
I can tell.
A ceramic pumpkin. You know, a PlayStation 4 remote. It could be anything. This tape measure from Wilkinson's. You know, we can reboot anything if it's suggested correctly. So yeah, we put these votes up on the Myco Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Myco Entertainment Group, MYCHO Entertainment Group. I'm not spelling the whole thing. We put the votes up there, I think usually at the start of the week, and then we try and kind of calculate them all by the end of the week, and then give ourselves no time to prepare pictures, which is usually how it works. But yeah, you can check out past episodes on our YouTube and on anchor.fm/Myco, MYCHO, or at myco.co.uk, mycho.co.uk. If you go there, we have a list of all the episodes there, or where you can see them. If you subscribe to Patreon, you're directly contributing to making these, which is really, really helpful to us. And obviously it helps us have time to do things like this, as well as making movies and stuff. And if any films we make, you get credits on there. So you can support that from, like, I think it's like £1 or $2 a month, or you can pay annually. I think it's about £10 a year or something like that, $12 a year, which is nothing to be sniffed at. You know, that's quite a good deal. And with that you get, so we currently do 4 podcasts a month, plus short films, plus there's comic books and all sorts of other things that we kind of that are exclusive to that Patreon, and you get all the podcasts about a month early, sometimes longer, sometimes not quite that long, but it's around about a month. You get them about 4 weeks early. If you go to myco.co.uk, you can also pick up movies, t-shirts, you know, packets of crisps. No, not packets of crisps, but other stuff. You know, there's loads to keep you busy. In the meantime, like I say, we'd love to hear your suggestions for stuff we should reboot next. I think our next one will probably be some kind of Christmas special. as they'll be landing on the Patreon in December, and then in January it'll probably land on YouTube and all that stuff. But anyway, thank you for joining me this week, Lewis.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
There we go. That's the end of the show. So until next time, don't say goodbye. Just say, Cats
Au revoir.
is the greatest in the galaxy. Goodbye.
Reboot.